Blessed love and blessed day. Blessed love and blessed day. Oh, boxing world, boxing nation, fighting world, fighting nation. It's Coach Fighting. This is real life boxing. One for the ages. Arrow the Truth, man down Spence against Showtime, Shawn Porter. The morning after, the day after. Hey, before we get into it, I'm going to ask you guys to smash on that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified when new content is being uploaded, and you can be notified when we are going live. Let's talk about it. Fight. Amazing fight last night. Money's worth. If you saw the live post-fight reaction, money's worth. Hashtag money's worth. Arrow the Truth, man down Spence versus Showtime, Shawn Porter. Money's worth. Great fight last night, man. Great fight last night. Great fight last night. We gotta take our hats off to these two warriors. Oh yes, we do. Oh yes, we do. I told everyone. I told you guys it wasn't gonna be no dog walking now. I don't know why everyone was so hell-bent on just giving Shawn Porter a really hard time where this fight was concerned, man. Nobody was trying to give Shawn Porter no love at all. The build-up of this fight, nobody was trying to give Shawn Porter no love at all. Dudes were saying Errol was going to completely dog walk Shawn Porter. Errol was going to beat the crap out of Shawn Porter. Errol was going to stop Shawn Porter. He was going to do this to Shawn Porter. He was going to do that to Shawn Porter. And all the while, I was telling people, no, he is not. When have we ever seen Shawn Porter get dog walked by anybody? You know what I'm saying? Cal Brook put hands on him, but, you know, he didn't stop him. He didn't destroy him. You know what I'm saying? And great job by ERROL SPENCE. I did a video leading up to this fight. It was called Headbutts versus Low Blows. The amount of low blows that ERROL SPENCE landed on Shawn Porter last night. And honestly, he landed enough low blows to be able to have a point taken away. Now, Shawn Porter, he just complained like early in the fight about the low blow, and he got the referee's attention, but he should have stayed on it. You know what I mean? And the referee, he told ERROL SPENCE a few times during the fight to keep it up, but Shawn Porter should have pressed that. You know what I'm saying? Maybe he could have got a point taken away from ERROL SPENCE, because the low blows was I mean, what I expected, but I told y'all, you watch out for it. ERROL SPENCE, because he's so dedicated to going to the body, he lands a lot of low blows, you know what I'm saying? And sometimes they're masked just because the way he leans in there when he's throwing his low blows, referee can't catch it. And if the fighter's not complaining about it, then hey, you know what I mean? But a lot of low blows landed by ERROL SPENCE, but still gotta give Shawn Porter his props for, you know, for not making a big deal about it. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, they couldn't have been bothering him that much, because, you know, he only complained about the first, the real first low blow, but he wasn't really complaining about him like that. So, but I mean, I also said that Shawn Porter had to keep ERROL SPENCE turning, and he did an absolutely amazing job of that last night. I kept saying, like, Shawn Porter could box. You know what I'm saying? He don't necessarily box, as good as he can box, he doesn't necessarily box. You know what I'm saying? He likes the football playing style. I always feel like Shawn Porter, he's just the type of fighter, like, he just feels more comfortable being closer to you. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess he feels like, you know, he could rough you up or he could impose his will when he's close to you. So he's just like the type of fighter where he just feels more comfortable, like, being closer to you, like with his body on your body. You know what I'm saying? Like, he's a football player, so it's expected. But in the midst of all that, he can really box. Like, he's like he can really box. Like, he could box much better than he's given the credit for, because he doesn't really display his boxing. Kind of just like Errol Spence. I feel like Errol Spence could really box also, but he don't really box like that. He's more like just a come forward fighter behind his jab, and you know, just a come forward pressure fighter behind his jab. But I feel like he could really box also, but he don't really box. But I feel like Shawn Porter could box way better than what people actually give him credit for. Not to mention his athleticism, his footwork. The only thing that I don't like about Shawn Porter is when he squares up a lot. You know what I mean? He cross over his feet, but you know, that's that come forward football player mentality style. Errol Spence squares up a lot too. You know what I mean? Trying to land those body shots, but he doesn't get as square as Shawn Porter, and Shawn Porter goes off balance a lot when he does that. But yo, great fight, man. Y'all tell me what y'all thought about it in the comment section. Money's worth. Like, I was also saying that with all the fights that they're putting on pay-per-view nowadays, like this fight, in this fight, like when this fight first got announced, like nobody was really interested in this fight. Everybody was saying, you know, even up to the end of it, everyone was still saying that Errol Spence was gonna dog walk him, but people were way more interested in the fight because Errol Spence and Shawn Porter did a great job of selling the fight. You know what I mean? But I've been saying this is actually a pay-per-view fight in terms of the action that you're gonna get. You know what I'm saying? In the fight that you're gonna get, because you know that Shawn Porter's coming forward. He's not going backwards, and Errol Spence already said that he was trying to knock Shawn Porter out, so he wasn't going backwards. So you already knew it was gonna be a clash. You know what I mean? In the middle of the ring, and it was gonna be who can impose, you know what I'm saying, the will on the other person. This fight wasn't really skill. You know, skill versus skill. This fight was more, you know, more of a dog fight. More of a dog fight. I also feel like Shawn Porter, I was going to do a separate video on this too. I feel like Shawn Porter, he was, I wouldn't say that he wasn't trying to win. I believe that he was trying to win. But I think his ultimate goal in this fight was to make Errol Spence respect him, was to make Errol Spence respect his boxing ability and just his physical ability to begin with. Because Errol Spence kept saying that Shawn Porter didn't have no skills. He was just, you know, tough and a come forward fighter, but he didn't have no skills. And I think that was really bothering Shawn Porter. So I think one of the things that stood out to me was like Shawn Porter really, because he wasn't really upset that he lost. He didn't show like he was really upset that he lost. You know what I mean? He gave the head nod when they rang the bell. But I feel like he was more, his goal was to make sure that at the end of this fight, Errol Spence respected him, and Errol Spence knew that it wasn't going to be an easy fight and it wasn't going to be a close fight. Because, I mean, an easy fight for Errol Spence, because Errol Spence kept saying, you know, in all your fights have been close. You've never really, like, whipped anyone. All your fights have been close. And I think that type of shit right there was really getting to Shawn Porter. And so I feel like Shawn Porter was hell-bent on just making sure that he got Errol Spence's respect in this fight. And like he kept saying, you're going to fail me. You're going to fail me. You're going to fail me. And he did it. He even cut Errol Spence. I think it was by a headbutt, but it was a small cut. I'm on the outside of his eye late in the fight. But I think Shawn Porter was hell bent on just making sure that Errol Spence respected him by the time that the fight was over. You know what I mean? Even I was watching the post-fight presser, and even in the post-fight presser, they were still on the same shit that they was on, all during the build-up. But Shawn was like, "Oh, but come on, you know what I mean? But come on, tell me that, I'm more skilled than you thought I was." And Errol Spence said, "Yeah, I give you that. I give you that. You showed more skill tonight than I thought. I give you that. See, I could say that now that the fight is over." And they both laughed it out. So I thought that was nice. But hell of a fight, man. Hell of a fight. And of course, like I said last night, the Errol Spence haters are gonna say now that Errol Spence has been exposed, and and Terrence Crawford will whip him and so forth. And Terrence Crawford, the Terrence Crawford haters, they're gonna say, Terrence Crawford can't beat Shawn Porter. Shawn Porter's a dog, and that's why he gave Errol Spence such a tough fight. But these are the same cats that was saying that that Errol Spence was gonna dog walk Shawn Porter. You know what I mean? It'd be mad funny to hear the excuses the morning after, but we're not getting into all that. That's why I just try to keep it neutral. You know what I mean? I'm a fan of all of these fighters. I wasn't particularly a fan of the way that Shawn Porter fights. You know what I'm saying? Just real rough, kind of sloppy at times. But I feel like he fought a very good fight last night. Wasn't as sloppy as usual. Landed some real good clean shots on Errol Spence last night. You know what I mean? And for the Errol Spence haters, it's like, did Errol Spence get exposed? No, he didn't get exposed. It's like, you can't have it both ways. Like, you can't have it both ways. You want Errol Spence to fight all the top welterweights, but then, like, what you expect is going to happen? You think that he's going to knock out all the top welterweights, and then if he doesn't knock out the top welterweights, he gets exposed? No, there's a reason why the rest of these guys are the top welterweights in the world, along with Errol Spence. You know what I'm saying? And when they all fight each other and we get one, then you can say there's one. But there's a reason why these guys are like that. Just like last night, Keith Thurman was hating on Errol Spence. Keith Thurman said, like, in the 5th round, "Oh, I got Shawn Porter winning every round so far." And Lennox said, "Well, you can't have Shawn Porter winning every single round. There's 2 guys in the ring. You can't have one guy just with it." I mean, you can't have it both ways. You know what I'm saying? You can't. You want them to all fight each other, but then when they do fight each other, and then one of them, not even one of them, it's a tough fight, you say that one of them got exposed. No, one of them didn't get exposed. This is what's supposed to happen. You know what I'm saying? This is what's supposed to happen. The elite fighters of the weight division fight each other and put on a great fight. Sometimes one may get stopped, or you know what I mean, but typically it's a good fight. That's what's supposed to happen. You get a great fight out of it. One of them is not supposed to necessarily bulldoze the other one. You know what I'm saying? It's like, there's a reason why the other one is in the fight. You know what I'm saying? To begin with. You know what I mean? Shawn Porter, 2-time world champion. Shawn Porter's a dog. Regardless of if you like his fighting style, or if you like him, or if you like K. Diddy, Dude could fight, and the dude is tough. You know what I'm saying? You at least got to give him that. You know what I mean? Like, nobody beats up on Shawn Porter. You know what I mean? And like, look at Errol Spence's face last night. Like, oh, he definitely felt Shawn Porter. You know what I mean? Do I think that Errol Spence won the fight? Yes, I think that Errol Spence won the fight. I think that, but it was a very close fight. And with getting the knockdown, I think the knockdown, you know what I'm saying, broke him away. But if it wasn't for the knockdown, well, Errol Spence won like the last 2 rounds. Yeah, he was putting it on Shawn Porter. He dropped him in the 11th and then kind of put it on him in the 12th. But, if it wasn't for the knockdown, that fight could have maybe been a draw. You know what I'm saying? So, like, to me, it was a close fight. I didn't have Errol Spence winning by no 2-3 rounds like a couple of them judges had. And then one of them had Shawn Porter winning by like 3 rounds. I think it was a really, really, really close fight right down to the wire. And, Errol Spence needed that. Errol Spence needed to drop him, to get the victory. And I feel like Shawn Porter may have needed to drop Errol Spence to get the victory. You know what I mean? I feel like I said last night, talking to Killer Kill, I feel like one of them had to do something dramatic to break away from the other one, because it was a really close fight and a really good fight, really entertaining fight, really rough, rugged fight. Just a great fight, man. Great fight. Absolutely. Great fight. If you guys are in here, make sure y'all smashing on that like button. And we had Danny Garcia jump in there and put a challenge out to Errol Spence. So it would not be the fighting Senator Manny Pacquiao versus Errol Spence in the upcoming fight, which I kind of figured that. I told y'all that. I told y'all. Yeah, you know what I mean? I told y'all that I didn't think that Errol Spence was going to be fighting Manny Pacquiao. I don't think that Manny Pacquiao is going to fight Errol Spence at all. But we'll see what happens. They're talking about Shawn Porter fighting Manny Pacquiao. I don't see. I don't. I don't know. I don't know. Danny Garcia jumps up in there. He calls out Errol Spence. So what's gonna happen now? Mikey Garcia fights Manny Pacquiao or Shawn Porter. I don't think that the loser. I mean, Mikey lost last to Errol Spence. Shawn Porter lost to Errol Spence. So I don't think that the losers should get to fight Manny Pacquiao. You know what I'm saying? And Mikey Garcia is not fighting Shawn Porter, so get that theory out of anyone's head. But it'll be interesting to see what happened, man. Maybe they'll get Terrence Crawford over here. Keith Thurman's hand is broken or whatever's wrong with it. So who knows when Keith Thurman is coming back. It's just a really interesting situation right now in the welterweight division. Manny Pacquiao has a belt. He's got the WBA. Errol Spence's got the IBF and the WBC. And Terrence Crawford has the WBO. Errol Spence, man, who knows what's going to happen. Errol Spence, he said if they can't make the fight with Terrence Crawford and they can't make the fight with Danny Garcia, he may go up to 154 and fight J. Rock Williams. I don't know, man. I don't know. I'd like to see an undisputed welterweight champion. I think it's kind of hard. I think Manny kind of messed things up when he beat Keith Thurman, because I don't see Manny fighting Errol Spence. What y'all think, man? Y'all think Manny will fight Errol Spence? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if if Manny fights Errol Spence, man. I honestly don't. But I mean, I'd love to see Terrence Crawford up in the mix with all these guys, man. Terrence Crawford and Shawn Porter could be a good fight. I think Terrence Crawford outboxes Shawn Porter, but I think it's a good fight. I think it could definitely be a good fight. But I mean, it'd be sad if Terrence Crawford doesn't get to fight these guys. Boxing politics. The PBC have enough welterweights over there to keep all their welterweights satisfied. They really don't need Terrence Crawford. You know what I mean? And it's sad because it'll be nice to see Terrence Crawford up in the mix fighting these guys. It's just good fights for boxing. You know what I mean? Hopefully, Terrence Bud Crawford would make a switch, or Bob Arum and Al Heyman could start working together, and we could get some fights, man. Because like I said, it ain't nice having T Bud left out of the situation. Those would be good fights, Terrence Bud Crawford against all those guys. But I think that Keith Thurman will be much willing to fight Errol Spence now after seeing how Shawn Porter was able to deal with Errol Spence last night. I feel like Keith Thurman will be much more up for taking that fight now than he was before that fight happened. I think he'll be much more up for taking the Errol Spence fight now. They asked him last night. He said he felt like he could beat Errol Spence. He could box around him. He said that he said Shawn Porter doesn't crack hard like him. So you know Keith Thurman always talking that shit, even though he's always injured. But that would be a dope fight as well. Keith Thurman and Errol Spence would be a good fight as well. But I was really excited about Errol Spence and Shawn Porter fight. Only did a couple videos on it leading up to the fight. I didn't get to do any videos coming down the stretch just because of the rigorous the work schedule. But I was really excited, you know what I'm saying, and really amped for the fight, and I'm very pleased with the outcome that we got from the fight, and I think that everybody should be. Real rough and rugged fight, and like I said, I just wanted to see how Errol Spence dealt with the style of Shawn Porter, because even though Kell Brook was big and strong, like Kell Brook doesn't have the movement nor the athleticism of Shawn Porter, and he doesn't really fight like Shawn Porter. You know what I'm saying? He's not like as rough as Shawn Porter. And Errol Spence dealt with Kell Brook handily, even though Kell Brook hit him with everything but the goddamn kitchen sink. Errol Spence dealt with him handily, and Kell Brook dealt with Shawn Porter decently, but I wanted to see how Errol Spence dealt with Shawn Porter, with the activity of Shawn Porter. And I mean, Shawn Porter just just would not let up. Both of these guys were in great shape for this fight. Both of these guys fought well for 12 rounds. Can't really ask for more. Both of them were in really good shape. And yeah, man, just money's worth, money's worth, money's worth, money's worth. And like I said, I wanted to see how Errol Spence dealt with what Shawn Porter was bringing to the table, and Errol Spence dealt with it handily. Shawn Porter made it a rough fight, made it a really entertaining fight, but just like the Kell Brook fight, Errol Spence just, both of these guys just never really trying to take a step backwards. You know what I'm saying? They were both able to force each other up on the ropes at certain times, but you know, both of these guys just coming forward and just would not stop, and it just made for a great fight. So, you know, whatever questions I had of Errol Spence was answered, and you know, I still feel the same way. He's really a good, tough fighter, but I feel like he can be beat. You just have to box him. You know what I'm saying? And thing with Errol Spence is he's got the wide stance. He covers a lot of ground. He's long legs, long arms, long limbs. He's got the wide stance. He covers a lot of ground, but he's a little flat-footed, and with that wide stance, it's kind of hard to move with someone who can move. You know what I mean? That's why Shawn Porter was turning him so nice last night. But that's why that's why I feel like Terrence Crawford would have success against Errol Spence. You know what I'm saying? If he fights a smart, disciplined fight. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying again that Terrence Crawford would beat Errol Spence. To me, it's a 50-50 fight. But I think that Terrence Crawford could have success if he boxes Errol Spence and just keeps him turning. Because Errol Spence with the wide stance, he's kind of flat at times, kind of takes long to turn. You know what I mean? And that's where Shawn Porter was having success last night. Yeah, that's exactly where Shawn Porter was having success last night, by turning Errol Spence, using his feet, using the angles, and his dad was pressed on that. One time they turned Errol Spence early. I don't know if it was in the first round or the second round, but Shawn Porter didn't do anything. And then when he got back to the corner, his dad said, "Oh, you turned him, but when you turn him, you got to be on him right away." You know what I mean? That's what you got to do. As soon as he turns, you know what I mean? You create that angle, and that's where you get the time to get off on him when he's turning. You don't let him turn and reset. As soon as he's turning, that's when you start letting your hands go. But Shawn Porter did a great job, fought a great fight. Exactly what I expected. Only thing, like I said, I feel like he fought and boxed even better than what I thought he would have. His head movement was giving Errol Spence problems. His footwork was giving Errol Spence problems. And, you know, not problems to where it's Errol Spence, not problems to where he was dominating the fight and Errol Spence couldn't deal with it. You know what I mean? It's just, you know, giving Errol Spence problems, just making him work a little bit harder for what he wanted to do. I mean, both of these guys pushing each other back. Just a real good fight, man. I'm gonna watch it again. Just a real good fight, man. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Whether you streamed it for free or ordered it on pay-per-view, I hope that you enjoyed it, because it was a great fight, and it was money's worth for boxing fans, and we should be satisfied with this one. Definitely. satisfied with the performance of both fighters. Just absolutely, absolutely, absolutely. I'm excited and I'm interested on seeing what's gonna happen next with the welterweight division. Just an amazing fight, man. Just an amazing, amazing, amazing fight. Both of these guys roughed up. Both of these guys landed some good punches, upstairs and downstairs, and both of these dudes are just real tough warriors, man. If anything was learned about either fighter last night, I think that's something that we must take into consideration. Like I said, some people are gonna use this as an opportunity to be like, Errol Spence got exposed, or Errol Spence shows some type of weakness. Some people are gonna take the opportunity to say, well, no one who thought that Errol Spence was gonna knock out Shawn Porter or dog walk him could really say anything but give Shawn Porter respect. So on Shawn Porter's end, I think he gained everybody's respect. You know what I mean? Like I said, Shawn Porter, great fighter, but doesn't really get the love and respect that he should get because of his style, because of the way he fights, the rough, you know what I mean, rugged, not dirty, but just rough and just, really intense, sloppy at times. And, a lot of people don't like that. But one thing that you can't take away from him is that Duke could fight. You know what I'm saying? Whether you like the way it looks or not, Duke could fight, and he's always coming to fight. And he has never showed us anything different from that. So, exactly what I felt. Right up until before the fight started, even talking to my clients, doing some boxing work yesterday. We think it's going to win, coach. And I'm like, I think Errol Spence is going to win, but I think it's going to be a tough fight, rough fight. I don't think that Errol Spence is going to knock him out. And I wouldn't even be surprised if Shawn Porter wins the fight. You know what I'm saying? That was my whole outtake on the fight. And, wasn't wrong at all. Fire Bing, I agree. Shout out to Fire Bing in the comment section. Yeah, I wasn't wrong. Shawn Porter came to fight like he always does. And Errol Spence answered the call. You know what I'm saying? Straight up, Errol Spence answered the call. Dropped him in the 11th with a hard left hook. And, 11th, 12th round, 10th, 11th, 12th round, both of these dudes started sitting on their punches. You know what I'm saying? Both of these dudes started sitting down on their punches. To tell Errol Spence, was trying to land something good. But, Shawn Porter don't stay there to be hit. You got to catch him while he's punching, and that's what Errol Spence did. In the exchanging punches, both of them sitting down. Errol Spence, beautiful southpaw left hook. Oh, right on the outside of the jaw, up going towards the air. Hit him right in the back of it where he couldn't see it. And just a beautiful punch. Hurt Shawn Porter. Shawn Porter's punch resilience is amazing. And and I think that sealed the deal for Errol Spence. Plus, he came out and he took the 12th round as well. But who knows? Honestly, like I said, I think that Keith Thurman will be more willing to fight Not Manny Pacquiao. I'm thinking about Manny because I was about to say Manny also. I think that Keith Thurman would be more willing to fight Errol Spence now after seeing how Errol Spence performed against Shawn Porter. I also think that Manny Pacquiao might even be more willing to fight Errol Spence, seeing that how Shawn Porter was able to deal with him. Because Manny Pacquiao, like I said this in one of my previous videos, if Manny Pacquiao fights any of these guys the way that he fought Keith Thurman, he can win the fight. You know what I mean? And with Manny Pacquiao's style, the way he bounces, the way he moves around, I think that he can give Errol Spence some problems, you know what I'm saying, in that area also. But he can't slow down against Errol Spence like he did against Keith Thurman. You know what I mean? He can't do that. But if he's able to bounce around and get his punches off and use his feet for 12 rounds, I think there's a possibility that Manny could beat Errol Spence. He just can't get caught with anything. With anything hard, at least. But like I said, you know, if Manny fights any of these guys the way he fought Keith Thurman, I think he has a chance of winning. But the thing is how many more of those type of performances does Manny Pacquiao have left in him? The great fighting senator. Hey, you guys tell me what y'all think about it in the comment section. I'm going to end this live stream and come back with some more videos, man. Y'all know what it is. Keep fighting the fight and protect yourself at all times. Peace and one love.